You're watching Alaska's news source.
Hey, good evening. We start tonight with fire danger across the state. This is a live look at the Fairbanks North Star Borough's online evacuation map. Green does not mean go. It means be ready, just in case.
Yellow on this map means set, and red, that means leave immediately.
Taking it straight to our chief meteorologist now, Melissa Fry is tracking fire conditions across the state. Has a first look at the forecast. Melissa.
Yeah, you can see a lot of red areas on that map, north, south, east, and west of Fairbanks, as those fires throughout the interior continue to grow, impacting those communities. But we are also seeing fires widespread across the state, including right along the Glen Highway. The Nelchina Glacier fire has grown here over the past 48 hours, now up to about 2,500 acres. Again, sitting just south of the Glen Highway. Two Blackhawks have been doing bucket work in this area the past couple of days, really focusing on that north side, hoping to prevent this fire from spreading closer into this community, again, where we do have homes, people living, again, right there along the Glen Highway. Further north, if you've traveled along the Parks Highway between Fairbanks and Anchorage, you've seen this fire. The Bear Creek fire is now up over 26,000 acres. Traffic is currently being controlled on the Parks Highway by a pilot car. Smoke really causing poor visibility in this area. And as you look at that red perimeter, you can see that fire line, again, has jumped the Parks Highway, extending there both to the east and west of the highway tonight. But again, just one of 240 acres that are burnt, 240,000 acres, I should say, that burned so far this year. One of 189 active fires in the state. The good news is we only have 5 new fires in the past 24 hours. If you've been watching this and keeping track, you've seen it's been 20 to 30 new fires we've been seeing with each day recently. Still 21 staffed fires in the state. The other good news is we are seeing temperatures coming down a bit, a little rain moving in, not enough to put out any fires, but enough to hopefully at least slow their growth. We do still have those flood advisories in effect for the Matanuska River and for the western side there of the Susitna Valley, Yentna, and Squintna River system still running high and fast because of that recent snow melt. And we also have scattered showers pushing through the area tonight. You can see that cloud cover, it's widespread across the state. 70s in Fairbanks, 60s in Anchorage, 60s in the valley, and just into the 50s as you head into Ketchikan. Overnight tonight, we'll see those scattered showers pushing through. Chance for a few quick showers in Anchorage, better chances in the valley, and we'll see additional chances for those isolated showers heading through the day on Wednesday as well, with high temperatures holding in the mid-60s near Anchorage. A little warmer through the interior, high temperature for you back up to 70. Now, we do have some warmer and drier weather on the horizon. I'll have a look at that 7-day next.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much. And 45-year-old Brian Newdecker was killed in the Susitna Valley last night when the ATV he was on collided with an Alaska Railroad train. The railroad confirming the crash and Alaska State Troopers identifying Newdecker as the victim. His friend Nick Taylor is an Army veteran, as was Newdecker, and described the latter as a friend and neighbor, a nice man who had a great appreciation for the outdoors.
Taylor says Brian was a father of 5, ranging from adult age down to a 5-year-old, and had just moved to Talkeetna from Minnesota last month. An Alaska Railroad spokesperson says that the railroad is sending condolences and reminding people of the dangers of being near operational train tracks. Well, the Anchorage Police Department says it's looking for a suspect accused of crashing into the Palmini restaurant in downtown Anchorage, causing about $100,000 in damage to the building and shuttering the business for the short term.
41-year-old Robert Miller allegedly drove into the restaurant at around 3:30 in the morning. This would have been on April 20th, and then ran. When officers arrived, they found an abandoned blue Dodge truck that had crashed into the Palmini shop, where a worker inside the restaurant was injured in that crash.
Miller is facing multiple charges, including but not limited to assault, criminal mischief, leaving the scene of an accident, and misconduct involving a controlled substance. If you have information on his location, please share it with police by calling 311, use option 1, or you can call 907-786-8900 and press 0. These are both non-emergency lines.
A cyclist killed in an alleged DUI crash late last week is being identified by his family tonight. Ramadez Rodriguez Perez, the retired U.S. Marine whose family says he had recently been granted legal status in the U.S. and was working to build a life in Alaska, was struck and killed just after 9 o'clock last Thursday evening.
You can see in this video a memorial is now at the site where he died. Perez died while speaking to his mother on the phone, according to his family. The driver, accused of being involved, is facing charges of manslaughter, DUI, bribery, and more. You can read the full story on our website. A plane crash in Big Lake injured 2 people earlier today. This was the scene at the Big Lake Airport after Alaska State Troopers reported a plane went down there at around 9:30 this morning with 2 people on board.
The Director of Emergency Services for the Matsu Borough, Ken Barkley, says both of those people were severely injured and taken to Matsu Regional. Their current conditions are unclear right now. National Transportation Safety Board investigator Mark Ward says a likely cause has not been determined as this investigation is just beginning.
In Anchorage tonight, multiple members of the Assembly are proposing criminal penalties for people who sleep or camp in non-sanctioned areas of the city. That includes sleeping or camping in parks, along trails, and on sidewalks. Well, happening right now is the Anchorage Assembly meeting for tonight. The ordinance being proposed will see public testimony. South Anchorage's Keith McCormick, as well as Jared Gecker and Scott Myers of Eagle River, are all in their first terms and are backing the ordinance. Look for continuing coverage tonight at 10 o'clock.
The race for the mayor of the city of Fairbanks is heating up as Assembly member Mindy O'Neill announces she's running for the position in October. O'Neill filed a letter of intent last Tuesday, running against current city mayor David Pruse, who filed his letter in December. Coming off of 6 years on the borough assembly, O'Neill said she's interested in downtown issues, including affordable housing and revitalizing the area. So far, the assembly member saying her campaign has involved coming up with a team, creating a website, and developing a message.
I started talking to my neighbors. I started talking to people that I work with, those that I work with in the community, and just kind of gaining a feel for what are your feelings about the city, and do you feel like we're going in the right direction?
Someone was going to put their hat in the ring, and Mindy's a very capable opponent. She comes from the borough side. I'm on the city side, so I think my strength with the city is what really separates us.
Both candidates must file their candidacies with the city in July. That election is coming up October 7th.
Well, after the governor's education funding veto led to a $2.5 million deficit for the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District, board members now finalizing a budget that's still more than $1.5 million short. The veto means the $700 per student increase districts had expected was cut to a $500 increase instead. Members say they hope lawmakers can bridge the $1.7 million gap when next session starts in January. And they'll use some borough funding to cover part of the deficit. Well, still ahead on Alaska's news source, U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan is sharing his thoughts on the proposed multi-layered defense system.
Senators are now pushing to make President Trump's Golden Dome a reality. I'm Stetson Miller, and I'll have more on that from Washington.
And the National Transportation Safety Board sharing new details about the door plug blowout during an Alaska Airlines flight at a hearing in the lower 48 today. We'll be right back.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Welcome back. Federal lawmakers now pushing to make President Donald Trump's Golden Dome missile defense system a reality with a new bill that was introduced today.
Senator Dan Sullivan spoke with Stetson Miller about his thoughts on the Golden Dome and U.S. defense as a whole.
The Golden Dome is modeled off of Israel's Iron Dome, and senators say it's very much needed to protect America from missile threats. On Tuesday, Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill began pushing for new legislation that they say would begin to develop a massive defense system that can counter missiles that are fired at the U.S.
This act, which we're introducing today, will create a layered missile defense for America.
Alaska Senator Dan Sullivan and others began working on the legislation that they call the Golden Dome Act after President Donald Trump signed an executive order in January, ordering that the missile defense system be developed. If passed, the bill would dedicate around $23 billion for the beginning of the creation of the system.
Now, we're seeing in real time how regional missile defense in the Middle East over Israel, yesterday over Qatar, has been successful at protecting our citizens, our troops, Israeli citizens from attacks against Iran. Our country should use and build on this technology.
Last month, the president said the Golden Dome would cost $175 billion in total and would be ready in 3 years. But some assessments say it will take longer than that to build and cost far more. And critics question the program's feasibility. And Senator Sullivan says lawmakers will now work to get the Golden Dome Act into the larger defense bill in a few weeks. In Washington, Stetson Miller, Alaska's news source.
I talked to Senator Sullivan this morning about the Golden Dome Act and some other topics on mind right now, including the Federal Reductions Act. You can see our full interview with him on our website and streaming platforms. Also coming out of our D.C. bureau tonight, the National Transportation Safety Board says Boeing is to blame for a door plug blowout in 2024 that left a gaping hole in an Alaska Airlines plane as it was thousands of feet above ground. The new NTSB report out just today says missing bolts were the cause of the blowout, alleging systematic safety failures within the Boeing 737 MAX production line in the lead up to the parts being left out during assembly.
The same safety deficiencies that led to this accident could just as easily have led to other manufacturing quality escapes and perhaps other accidents.
The NTSB is now pushing hundreds of new safety recommendations for Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems, and the Federal Aviation Administration.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.